Thanks, Rubes. How great was that? Thanks to Ruby and Georgia to kick this off. Hello, everybody. So excited to be here as part of Grow with Google. I'm Rakshita. I work in the Google Sydney office. I've been at Google for 7 years. Started my Google adventure back in India and moved to Sydney about 3 years ago for the love of being close to the ocean. I'm super excited about it, but my mom's definitely sad that now I won't be going back home anytime soon. So now, I know quite a few of you raised your hands being business owners or working with businesses online. How many of you have made a business decision based on your gut instinct or what you feel about your business, right? Again, I see a few nods and a few hands, right? So all of you lovely ladies are here today and are business owners because of your incredible drive and your business acumen. And yes, you do have good business gut instinct. But how can we take that one step further and help you make better and more informed business decisions with data? That's why I'm here today, to cover this section off a bit and to run you through how we can make better business decisions with Google Analytics and to run you through what Google Analytics is. How many of you use Google Analytics? Okay, quite a few of you. For the benefit of the others, Google Analytics is basically our free analytics platform, which is free to anybody who owns a website. What it does is it gives you a lot of data and insights on how things are running on your website, who's on your website, what are they doing, things like that, which gives you so much more insight into your business and can then help you make decisions at the back of what you're seeing. Now, data makes your briefcase heavy, but insights make you rich. I love this quote because in today's world, where we live in a world of the internet, we live online, like Ruby said, we have so much data, right? If you're running a business online, we get so much data. And fun fact here, over 90% of the world's data was actually collected in the past 2 years, right? So in this age where we have so much data, adding an insight to it and understanding what data is actually valuable to you is really key for all your business owners, right? So today's goal for us here is to combine your knowledge of your business with data, help you turn that into insights, and then help us make better decisions based on what we're seeing on how your business is doing and how people are interacting with your business. Now, before we go into that, let's understand what an insight is, right? What is data, what an insight is. Now, so an insight is something like a piece of information that you get about your business that is novel, credible, and actionable. Sounds like buzzwords. Now, let me take you through an example to give you an idea of what a true insight is and how it actually helped one of the customers I was working with, okay? So I work with a customer who sells laptops. For the benefit of the room, let's call them Orange. So now, during the year, Orange, that sells laptops, understood that they have 2 key periods in the year, okay? Now, end of financial year sales, they run an end of financial year sales, so they understand that that's a really big key period for them as a laptop sales company. And then also, you know, the whole Black Friday period in November, December was also key for them. So over the past few years, what they did was definitely prioritize on these 2 periods on sales and get more marketing out there to really capture the demand that's there during these 2 key seasons. And they noticed that a huge part of their profits for the year was coming in these 2 seasons. So they did this for a couple of years, and they're like, great, it's running well. But now they're like, how do we take our business to the next step? What more can we do? What insights can we get out of the data we have to then help us unlock new opportunities, right? So just by looking at the demand in the market and how the laptop sales industry is performing and doing, what we realized was actually September and October were also key periods if you were a laptop sales company. Because a lot of customers, yes, while end of financial year and Black Friday sales were key for you, but a lot of customers were actually coming online and looking for laptops and looking for deals even in the period of September and October, which if you didn't look at the insight, you wouldn't really know. Because it's not an obvious assumption that you can make about an industry, right? So something like this, where we really looked at the data found insights, helped them unlock new opportunities, to also understand that, okay, now September and October also key periods for us. So how do we strategize our profit model to also capture the demand that we're seeing in September and October? Hopefully this helps you better understand what we mean when we're talking about insights today, and how when we look at data and certain insights can help you in your business as well. Now, let me take you through a story of a small business owner back in the US. So meet Tracy and Danny. Tracy and Danny are a mom and daughter duo. They attended a lot of baking classes and were really inspired to start their own cupcake baking shop. So they started baking cupcakes. The business started doing really well, word of mouth. They had like a Google My Business account. They got really good reviews. Business was expanding. Then they noticed that they started getting a lot of orders from outside the state and city they were in. Now for a cupcake, which probably it's homemade, needs to stays fresh for about 2 or 3 days. They're like, how do we expand to all of the US? Because it's a good opportunity for business. What they did was they created cupcakes in jars to cater to the national market of it. So they created cupcakes in jars. It's still homemade, it's still fresh, and when you put a cupcake in a jar and ship it, it actually stays fresh for about 10 days. So they really expanded their business, and actually post this, after they started the cupcakes in jar business, they went to the US version of Shark Tank. They won some funding as well, and were really able to kickstart their business. Okay? So now that we know a bit about Tracy and Danny's business, let's understand how they use Google Analytics and how they use some insights to then take their business one step further. Okay? Now first I'll run you through some insights or some business decisions they made based on gut instincts, right? So they've been running their business for a while now, and they were like, okay, let's understand what's going on and make some decisions based on what we know, because we're pretty familiar with how to run a business, okay? So now the first decision they made was, they experimented new recipes, and if they liked it, they put it out in the market to sale, okay? Sounds like it would work, right? Good decision. Now the second one is, when sales were down, when they noticed that certain months or certain periods, they noticed the sales coming down, what they did was they cut their prices, hoping that that would generate more sales. Still, again, kind of makes sense. And then the last decision or assumption that they made was, they assumed that their target audience was women 35 to 54. This was based on, say, when they shop, the people who came up to and spoke to them, they assumed that, okay, most people buying our cupcakes in jars or ordering them online are women 35 to 54. Now, these gut instinct business decisions did not hurt Tracy and Danny's business as such. But now, if we add a layer of data and insights and understanding and looking at the data and let us inform the decisions, let's see how this changed, okay? So now the first one, they experimented with a new recipe and loved it. So instead of experimenting a new recipe and them liking it and putting it up to sale, how about look at my Google My Business reviews, right? Look at the data that we have there. We've been running the business for quite a while. Let's see what our customers are saying. Do they want a new flavor? Do they want more ranges of chocolate? Do they want more vanilla? Did they like the new mango flavored cupcake we put out there? Right? This is what we mean by you have the data, understanding, reading that, analyzing that, and then making a business decision. What they noticed when they went through their reviews, understanding what their customers are saying, they realized that the customers didn't really care about the new flavor that they loved and put out there. They, in fact, wanted other seasonal flavors or more of a chocolate. Okay? Now, going to the second example, they cut prices when sales were down. This didn't really increase their sales. So how could they have done this differently? So now, again, taking the example of looking at data and insights, what they did was they looked at what competitors are doing, what other cupcake businesses or people in similar industries, what do they actually do when we're going through a slow sales period? And we noticed that instead of cutting prices down, people just had other kind of promotions, maybe launch a new flavor then when sales are down. And things like that really helped their business during a low sales period. Now, the last example where they went through their Google Analytics account and saw data and understood the insights was, they assumed that their target audience was women aged 35 to 54. But actually, by looking at Google Analytics and looking at their website and seeing who's buying from them, it wasn't just women. It was men and women who were their target audience, and the age group wasn't 35 above. It was actually 25 to 35, right? So it's like now that we live in this world that we have so much data, really relying on that to help us make better decisions, it would be super helpful. Now, before we jump into the next section, or helping all of you understand how we can make better decisions with data, let's establish some definitions because we're going to be using it a lot. You already heard me say data and insights quite a bit. So let's establish for the benefit of the room what we mean when we're saying this, all right? So data. Data is a mere fact or a statistical reference related to your business. For example, let me say, I got 1,000 website visits last month. That's your data. It's not really telling you anything, but that's your data. Now, analytics. What is analytics? Analytics is basically the patterns and trends that emerge out of your data. I got 1,000 visits last month. 60% of them came from mobile. Now, that's your analytics because that's the pattern and trend emerging from your data. Insights. Insights are then the actionable value that comes out of your data and analytics. 90% of the people who came to my website via mobile converted. Now that's an insight that's valuable, and then you can make a business decision based on that. You can go back, make changes, understand how you want to talk to your mobile customers differently, because now you understand that 90% of them are actually converting, making a purchase, or registering, depending on your business goal. Now that we've understood what data, analytics, and insights mean, let's jump into getting you started with using data for your business, okay? We've simplified this and outlined a 3-step process for you on how you can start using data for your business, okay? Step 1 being outlining goals. Ruby touched upon this as well. It's really important to first understand your goal before you kind of understand what campaigns you want to start using. We're going to apply the same logic here too. Before we kind of dive into what data we need, what insights we need to help your business, it's very important to outline what goal, what are we actually looking for, right? And the second one is ask questions. Ask yourself the questions that will help your business get better, right? Okay, we want 50 purchases more, 50 sales more next month. But what does that mean for your business? Does that help you then become a profitable business? Or was it actually 100 sales that you need to get into? So asking yourself these questions and understanding what you need will really help with the step 3. That's viewing the reports. So if we outline your goals and understand what questions you want to ask yourself, then viewing the reports with these 2 in mind will become so much more easier because you know what exactly you're looking for, because you know what you need to be profitable in your business, and you're going with that lens and then looking at the data and the reports. Now, jumping into step 1, outlining your goals. Let's start with all of you thinking about a goal for your own business, and how about you write it down in your notebook? Yeah, it could be sales, it could be registrations, it could be phone calls. Whatever is required for your business, think about it and write it down in your notebook. An example, looking at Tracy and Danny's business again, when they were outlining their goals, what their goal was to decrease the shopping cart abandoners under 60%. What this means was when people came to the website and started the purchase cycle to purchase a cupcake from them and then dropped out without purchasing, they noticed that there's a large volume on this, so they wanted to focus on identifying why this is happening and how they can stop it. So what's your business goal? Does anybody want to share what they've written down in their book? Yes. Strong leads? Yeah. That's a really great business goal, and it's one of the number 1 example here as well. So that's good. So start thinking about what goals will help your business and what you want for your business goal to be. Jumping into the second section. Now that we know what our goal is, let's ask ourselves some questions. on how do we get to these goals, or what really does this goal mean. We've differentiated these questions into 4 buckets. This basically outlines your customer journey, okay? So reach is when your customers are online and you need to reach them. You need to get them onto your website, or you need to get them onto your mobile app, right? That's when you're reaching them. Engage is the kind of questions when now they're on your website or they're on your app. What are they doing there? How do we keep them there? They could leave anytime if they don't find what they want. So how do we keep them on your website, right? That's your second step, and the second phase of the customer journey. The next one is convert. Okay, from the web, we found them, we got them to our website. Now, how do we get them to perform that action or perform that goal that will lead to a conversion? Now, how do they become your customers, right? From being on your website, how do we get them to go to that transaction or go to that lead or go to that registration? And the last part is sustain, which marketers these days are definitely finding really hard because nobody's brand loyal. If another brand can offer us something else, we'll go to that and purchase from them next time, right? So sustain is how do we keep the people who came to your business and purchased, how do we keep them coming back to you and only you? So let's dive a bit into the reach questions. Now, what are people searching for? Who is your audience? How do they find you online? These are some examples of reach questions where you don't know anything about your customers, but you're trying to understand how you can reach them. For example, like Tracy and Danny, who is your audience online, right? They understood that it's not just females, it's males and females aged 25 to 35. So these are some examples of reach questions that you can ask yourself so that you understand who's coming to your website and how you're capturing them. The next bit is engage questions. Now, how do people find you online? How did they find you? And where did they engage with you the most? How did they interact with you online? Yes, they came onto your website. What pages did they spend most time on? Did they watch a YouTube? Did they watch a video? Do you have a video on your website? Did they watch a video? Did they not watch a video, right? Asking yourself these questions and helping you identify what they're doing, what their journey is once they're on your website. The next one is convert questions. Now, which channels drive conversions? What call to actions drive conversions? And what channels have a higher return on investment? We got your customers to your website, but now, what got them here? What call to action on your website actually made them purchase from you or register with you or leave their details with you? These are some of the examples of convert questions. The last one being sustain questions, right? Do people continue to engage? Did people just come and purchase from me once and then leave? Did they come back? Why did they come back? Did we offer like some promotional, loyalty, etc., things like that? And just really deep diving into that aspect of it and what keeps a customer with your brand and keeps them coming back to you are an example of what sustained questions would be like. Now, we've outlined our goals and we've asked ourselves some different categories of questions. So now it's time to look at the reports and turn to the reports and see what the data tells us. Before we jump in, this is the link on how you can go to Google Analytics. It's google.com/analytics, and that's a reference on how the interface looks like for those of you who haven't set up Google Analytics before. Understand Google Analytics is a beast. It has so much data, it can be overwhelming. I've played around with Google Analytics so much over the past 4 or 5 years, and trust me, you can go down a rabbit hole once you go into Google Analytics. So today, don't worry, today what we're going to do is we're going to get you started on the five most important reports on Google Analytics. And post that, once you've played around with it, and once you've understood the lay of the land, then you're free and welcome to go down that rabbit hole like me. So some of the reports we covered today is real-time reports. Basically tells you what's happening on your website right now. And the next one is conversions. We spoke about a bit of conversions and what they are before. So this will give you deeper detail into What's the conversion? Where is it coming from? How much did it cost me? Things like that. The next one is audience. We've spoken about this a lot before. Who is your audience? What else do they do online? They're male, female, what their age group is, getting that kind of insight in your business. Acquisition is basically where did they come from the web, right? The internet is such a large space. You saw the search, display, video, things like that. So where did they actually come from and came into your website? And the last one is behavior. Now that they came on your website, but what are they actually doing? Did they stay on your website? Did they go from one page to another? Did they go directly, not to the home page, but to a product page? Understanding the behavior of your customers on your website is what the behavior report will cover. We're going to dive deep into the different reports now. So the first one, real-time report, right? As I mentioned, it covers what's happening right now on your website. Say you've changed content on your website on a certain page and then launched your website. You want to see, are people engaging more now? Did that get a lot more people to your website? What if suddenly your business is featured on the news or a blog or any kind of social media? Is that suddenly generating a lot more traffic to your website? These are the kind of things that you can measure by looking at the real-time report. And what if you're running a promotion or a discount or something like that? Has that had any effect on the traffic on your website? So all these aspects, when you're doing all these aspects, it could be useful to look at the real-time report, because it gives you an indication on how many people are on your website right now, where did they come from, what time did your traffic pick up, when is it dropping off, where are they going, information like that. Now, looking at the second type of report, which is the conversion report. Now, has the website been successful in driving conversions for you, whether it's sales, registrations, etc.? Now, we know that, okay, people might come purchase from us or not, but we want to know more data about it to give you more power about your business, right? How many transactions was this? How many unique transactions was this? These kind of metrics give you an idea of how many people came to my website and purchased the first time, or how many people are coming back to me and purchasing. It gives you information like revenue as well. So you see on the screenshot there, you see Google, you see Yahoo, you see Bing, and it has like numbers attached to it, revenue numbers attached to it. What that basically means is the people who came and converted your website came in from these channels, and the revenue that you gained is the number associated to these channels. So at a time where you want to increase efficiency and things like that, that's where this will come and be helpful for you. It'll help you understand what are the channels actually driving conversions and driving revenue for me. Let me just focus on those channels, and maybe the others that are not. Why am I on there, right? Helping you understand this kind of data. The next one is audience. I think this is definitely so important for every business owner, because in today's world, when we're online and on the internet, anybody from any location, from any part of the world could essentially be interacting with a website and ordering from you. So getting this data and understanding who your target audience is would be key, even for you to go back and make business decisions like, what kind of products do you want to launch? Who's your target audience? Do you want to cater your website messaging to this kind of audience? Because you know they're there and they're the ones buying from you. So what the audience report gives you is it gives you age and gender. Yes, no brainer. But it also gives you things like what their interests are and what they're doing online otherwise. Do they travel a lot? Are they moviegoers? Do they attend live events a lot? So Google's able to categorize people depending on their internet behavior into these even more targeted buckets. And being on Google Analytics helps you get that data as well about the kind of audience and your customers who are interacting with your business. The next report talks about acquisition. Acquisition essentially means where are your customers coming from? We saw this also in other reports before, right? Were they coming from Google? Were they coming from Yahoo? Were they coming from Bing? But this report only focuses on the channels and the different places of where your customers came from. Apart from the different websites and different platforms that they came from, You can also understand the different search queries they actually looked for and then landed up on your business and your website. Some example, this is Tracy and Danny's Google Analytics account. So if you look at some of the search queries there, it talks to cake in a jar, Wicked Good Cupcakes, which is their brand name, but it also shows gluten-free cupcakes and other categories of cupcakes that people searched and then came and purchased from them. These kind of insights are really helpful to understand what people are looking for and then coming to your business. And if you see that, for example, gluten-free cupcakes is one of the reasons 50% of the audience is coming to your website, maybe we need to do more flavors of gluten-free cupcakes because we know that that's my audience, that's where they're coming from, and that's what made them purchase from you. So really taking back the insights from these reports and helping you make better decisions. The last one for today is the behavior report. Now, it's what do people do on your site, right? Very often we understand people come to our website, they buy, they purchase, or they leave. That's it, right? But this report actually gives you details into what they're doing on your website. So the first bunch of green boxes that you see is the first step or the first page that people have come into your website. And then the connection, it goes from there. It helps you draw the flow on they came to the home page, then they went to a product page, then they purchased, things like that. So it really identifies the behavior flow of people on your website. And if you see the red kind of drop off there, it shows you the drop off rate of people who came to that certain page and then dropped off. These kind of insights will really help you understand what's working on your website, what content is engaging on your website, where are people dropping off a lot. Right? If you see on the first section of the green part, there are a lot of reds. So it's like, okay, those pages are the pages people are coming to and dropping off the most. What's happening there? Where are they coming from? Is the content not relevant? Should we change it? Should we add a video in there? Is a video more engaging? Start asking your questions, things like that, when you see these kind of reports. And then the wonderful thing about Google Analytics is also, once you make these decisions, once you've looked at the insights and changed things on your business or your website, you can remeasure it and see if it has a positive effect or not. If it doesn't have a positive effect, we can retract or then discuss what more should we do. So a quick recap on what we covered in the Google Analytics section today is we outlined our goals. Very important to understand what our goals are, what we need to achieve. And the next bit is ask yourself the questions. Understand the customer journey. Ask yourself questions. What answers do you need for your business to be successful? And then when we have those two in place, and then when we go to Google Analytics and look at our reports, we'll be able to understand what we need. Because Google Analytics basically gives you a wealth of data of anything happening on your website, which we can get caught up in. But identifying the first two steps are very important to then go into step number 3 and identify those reports and then get those insights that'll help you make better decisions. And the last one, like I mentioned, you can constantly measure and take action. What's working for you, what's not working for you. The real-time reports helps you understand, like within seconds, whether something's working or not. That's all for me today. Thank you so much.